think a lot of people, like, their biggest problem is, like, they're using boosts, so they're going to disagree with the boost thing. But, like, I know it's hard to go against yourself in these topics, but it's like, hey, when you are someone coming in 14 months after the server launches, do you think things should be changed to benefit you? Because that's a change. That's literally what it is. They are putting in boosts that were not there to benefit the players that showed up 14 months late. You're changing the game to support the players that were not here, that showed up super late, that are now playing catch up, and they want to be able to essentially undo all of the work that the previous players got, or at least put a dent in it by being able to swipe. And I don't think that's right. I think it's greedy from Blizzard. You know, they're doing it for money. We all know that. It's the only thing it's about. They know it's not good for the game. It's not healthy for the game. They know that. They're well aware of that. But they do it because it pays the fucking bills. It's not healthy for the game. Nobody that actually cares about the game and the quality of the game can say with a straight face that boosts are healthy for the game. You can't say that. You can't. That's factually incorrect. That's not an opinion. That's incorrect to say that they're healthy for the game. They're not. And I think from an MMO perspective, for something that's supposed to be all about like longevity and community and actually playing the game, it's the worst thing you could ever do to the game. It's bad. You want a community that's spread out amongst all the content. Like that's great, you know? When people are in the Barrens leveling while you're doing Karazhan, that's healthy for an MMO to have players spread throughout, right? That's great. And that kind of goes back on our last conversation. I uploaded 2 videos. One of the most recent one was like 25 minutes about like Classic Plus stuff. It kind of goes back to that where it's like, why is everything about the end game? The game is designed where you could enjoy the leveling and stuff. That kind of loses its oomph, we'll call it, like how impactful it is on the players when it's the, you know, 5th time through the fucking game, you know? That's not as cool, that's why I think Classic Plus should reinvigorate that. Like, there was a time, I remember when I got into this game, I was 13 or 14, I remember the words I actually said to my friends. The exact words, I still remember it was, I will never see everything in this game. I'll never be able to see everything. Every zone, every quest, every enemy, every, you know, like I'll never be able to see everything. There was this sense that the world was so big, you can't possibly do it all. You can't see it all. And that's like the ignorance of a, I don't know, 13-year-old, you know? That vibe, we'll never have that amount of like sense of wonder and, you know, like what the fuck is out there. We'll never have that again because we're smarter now. We know more about gaming than like a little kid that's first starting would get out of that, right? But at least giving some of that back and focusing on bringing that back would be huge. And boost would detract from that. I think we have to support that and push, hey, and maybe Blizzard needs to come up with some slogans with that shit, like saying, like, you know, it's not how it ends. It's how you truly live. Some bullshit like that. Something about like, how do you live through the game? It's not about ending and reaching the end game and stuff like that. And I'm gonna make enemies here. I'm against them delaying raids for BC and shit. I would be for them delaying raids in Classic Plus. I would be for that. And they should sell it. They should sell it by saying, hey, you guys don't know this world. No one does. This is new. This is new to everyone. Yeah, it's gonna have a little bit of sod life up in there and stuff like that, but you guys aren't gonna know this world. Take your time. don't rush through it. Explore it. There's a lot out there to see. There's a lot of stuff you're gonna like to, discover for yourself. Maybe don't use the word discover anymore. Try not to use that. I think it's got a bad vibe now with the community. You gotta discover. But I think pushing for that for like a month, saying, hey, there's content out there. There's open world stuff. There's open world bosses that you might not know about, how to summon them, how to get them out there. There's not raids yet, but get out there and take your time. Explore. And I think that needs to be imposed a little bit more, so it's not always about the end game. And it's right now, this game's not always about the end game. It's not right now. Vanilla WoW. It's not about the end game. It was never really about the end game for a majority of players. And that's okay. I think that's great to put more of that in the game, but boosts detract from that. That's shit, man. And it's shit from a fairness level. Not even just like enjoying the game. Like, you should be enjoying leveling. You should be having fun while leveling. I love Zul'Farrak. I love Scarlet Monastery. Fuck boost. Break boosts. You can't buy boost. You can't get boosted by a mage. No boost. You have to go into Scarlet Monastery. You hit max level at 60, you get 10% more experience on the next character, stacking up to like 50%. So your subsequent characters can level quicker, but you have to still level them and play the game and enjoy SM. And maybe I'm going to heal this time through and tank this time through and caster and melee DPS. And the game should have enough content and enough changes in there that it's interesting enough. And enough content that you can level characters like 5 different times and completely touch zones that you've never even done before on the last level. Like there's 8 different zones that are level 20 to 30, and you only need to do 2 or 3 to pass the level 30s and go to 30 to 40. So you're past fucking Halcyona and fucking, I don't know, the River's Dicks and fucking, I don't know, whatever all these made up zones are, right? Like fucking, I don't know, Apocrypha, I don't know, whatever fucking made up names you want to come up with for these new zones. You haven't even touched them and you didn't need to, so you're past them. Now you're levels 30 to 40 and there's another fucking 10 zones and you only do fucking 3. But that is awesome. Hey, there's so much content, I only did 3. There's other classes. You can level all the classes, or you hit max level, maybe you want to go back. Do the quest as max level. I think that's fucking cool. I think the game needs to be more about that and less about push to the end game all the time. Now, I'm always going to be about the end game. Me, I like the challenge. I like having hard content at the end and not nerfed content that sucks. But I think the mindset of the player base is warped, where nobody likes the leveling. Everyone wants to skip it. And that's probably infinitely more apparent and true in the classic vanilla WoW, specifically vanilla WoW community. Those are the vocal minority. And I say it's a minority because it is, but it's the vocal minority. And Blizzard loves that people are pushing boosts. People feel like they have to boost. They can't possibly level. It's not true. They don't have to boost, but I understand why they would. From like a perspective of like progression and not being left behind, and you fear like not having enough time, and there's only 3 weeks, so you can't miss your raid lockouts, and that's true, which is why they never should have done it in the first place. Because if it's the most efficient thing to do, people are going to tend to do it. And it's greed. It's Blizzard greed. That's what it is. But I think it's a shame that we are not seeing, I don't know, more of that, more of like a leveling crowd for the game. I would almost prefer a fresh BC server with no boost over what we're getting. Almost. Say almost because I would like to take my Scarab Lord into there and stuff, you know. So it would suck to kind of give that up, but you know, I think the game would be healthy with the leveling curve, we'll call it, where, you know, players are all over the place. Barons is lit. People are leveling there. They're in Stranglethorn still while we're in BC. We're in Outlands, you know? It's a shame that the community has shifted towards the you must get to endgame immediately. And I'm a big believer of if you didn't earn it, fuck you. I'm a big believer of that. And there's people probably listening to this right now that didn't even start yet. And they don't like to hear that, but That's my true belief. If you're coming for BC, you have to level. They already made the leveling easier. It's a 30% experience reduction, 1 to 60 now, give or take. It's like a third. It's already easier. You want to start in pre-patch? Knock yourself out. You got 3 weeks to hit 60, and then you'll be ready to go to BC. If not, if you're in the 50s and the BC opens, who fucking cares? You obviously didn't play when the game launched. You're not dedicated. You're not hardcore. You're not serious about the game. So take your time. That's okay. That's fine. You don't have to be super serious about the game. You can play 1 day a week, 2 days a month. I mean, I'll laugh at you, but that's fine. If that's your thing, go for it. Be your dad gamer. But you should have to earn it. And not to take it outside of gaming, but the whole world's getting to be that way. Where everyone needs everything, and people feel like they exist, therefore they deserve, and that applies to a lot of things in life. And it's a shame that WoW is seeing that now in MMOs. You gotta earn it, man. You gotta earn it. You gotta earn what you want, and if you truly, truly want the end game and you only care about the end game, earn it. Earn it. Show you give a shit. Earn it. And I fear for Classic Plus if this is the dev team's view on what is good, how the game should be designed. I worry for the quality of the game, more so than ever before. I had a little bit more faith. I know a little bit of stuff about Classic Plus. I've been told some things, and then I said, okay, all right, I'm interested. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out regardless. I'm definitely going to play it. Definitely going to try it out. But what is the mindsets of the devs? What's the mindset? Everyone gets everything. If anyone is ever struggling to clear a raid, you nerf it. Because I would love to sit down in front of the lead devs and say, okay, here's a scenario. Here's the current raid you guys launched. Let's do a timeline. It's been 3 weeks since it launched. And of the raid teams that have attempted it, 70% have failed. 30% have succeeded. What do you guys do? What's your action you take? Let's just say it's the first raid. What do you do? 30% of it succeeded, third week. 70% of the raids that have tried it have failed. But every day, that percentage starts going up a little bit. What do you guys do, dev team? Oh, we take a look at it and we nerf the bosses. We reduce the difficulty a little bit to help rate. And then I'll be like, okay, why? What is the percentage you're aiming for? What's the clear rate you want to see for the first raid? And it's very important that you differentiate between first raid. If they go, we want a 70% clear rate on the first raid. Okay. Not going to fight you on that. How many raids do you guys plan to have? 10? Okay, 10 raids. What about the second raid? If they say 70% again, I have a problem. Every subsequent raid after the first should have a larger failure rate. Failure to clear rate should be larger. But it could take longer to kind of meet what the first one was. Like, that should be the goal. It's like, hey, we want 70% of the players that do this the first couple raids to succeed. It takes that 70% doesn't happen for the first 2 months of the first raid. It takes 3 months for the second raid. And this is Classic Plus. I'm envisioning like 4 to 5 years of content, like continued support. And then the third raid, you know, it takes 5 months to reach that. And then they start getting into what they consider the more difficult content. I'm gonna need to heal someone. Oh, it's only Bucky. They get towards the end. I'm gonna taunt from my other character. Towards the end, like the last 5 to I don't know, 3 to 5 raids at the end. It's the very end. You know what I want to see for the very last raid? Original Naxxramas clear rate. I want to see like under 20%, under 30%, because there's got to be that drive. There's got to be a drive for players to give a damn, to work towards something. Without that, why even play? Why put forth the effort? Why do any of that? There's got to be a reason for the dedicated to play, and there's got to be content out there for the casuals to enjoy. And I think leveling and exploring the world should be a big portion of the game. It should be you know, something that they can do. And then they dabble in a little bit of PvP. They have the E-raids that are a little bit easier. And they could get a little bit easier over time and say, hey, I don't know how you would develop it as Blizzard, they might say, hey, we're going to don't call it phases to the player base, but we're going to consider these first 3 raids like phase 1 raids. We'll call that phase 1 internally. And then phase 2 raids are 4, 5, and 6. And then we'll make sure like 1, 2, and 3 kind of make, by the end of that phase, we're talking 8 months in, that's an 80% clear rate, right around there. And then, we'll make sure, 4, 5, and 6 are a little bit harder. We kick the difficulty up a little bit, so maybe there's like 60 to 70% clear rate. And then phase 3 is 7, 8, 9, and we make sure like there's half. And then 10, 11, 12 raids, whatever it may be, 4 to 40% clear rate. And then the end game, the super end game, maybe we're talking like 3 years into Classic Plus, they released like the last couple raids. And who knows, maybe the game's so successful they could support it for another few years, but let's say it's the last few years and the last few raids towards the end of development of Classic Plus, and they shoot for 20 to 30%, something real difficult. Like you gotta be a badass to get it done. And you know what's cool about that? You know what's cool about that being really difficult? Now you have Classic Plus complete. 4 to 5 years of development. At the end, you have all these raids out. The casual players can play that game for years. They could take their sweet-ass time. They're doing raids 1 through 6. They're starting to step up a little bit. The guild's getting a little bit more serious. Maybe they're just over gearing stuff now. Now they have a ton of gear and they can push for 7, 8, 9. They start to get those raids down. Maybe a little bit of 7, a little bit of 8, a little bit of 9, and then they go back and they clear 7. They push for 8, and then they eventually they were talking 4 or 5 years of content that they made for this game. Year 6, 7, people are playing and still working their way towards that difficult, very difficult, hard content to complete, and you don't nerf it, because you know what that does? That puts the carrot on the stick. That puts a, hey, we're going to get that. We're going to clear that freaking raid no matter how long it takes. Let's play this. We'll do new characters. We'll mess around. We'll do different things. We'll PvP here and there. We'll work on our raids. We'll try to be the best we can be, and eventually we're going to get that down. We're going to clear that raid. It's that carrot on the stick, knowing that something is out there that we haven't completed. Let's do it. Because to me, I don't vibe with Classic Era. No shame on it. You want to play Classic Era? Go for it. But where's the end? Is my question. Where's the end? When do you stop playing Era? When do you stop playing Vanilla WoW? When the Dark Portal opens and you walk through to Burning Crusade, when Blizzard decides to drop it, right? Then when you leave BC, when Wrath drops, or maybe Classic Plus in this instance. But for Classic Plus, I think you need to have enough content, and content that's hard enough to reach and clear, that the majority of the player base does not for a long time. And it's that gold medal that they're reaching for. They're trying for the very, very hardest content that they can do. I know that maybe it takes them over a year. Maybe it takes them 2 years to get it down. That's cool, just knowing that that's out there. Turtle WoW, never really played it. I played it for like a couple hours. Cool. Not a fan of private servers. Don't really dig them too much. But knowing that it has so much content that to like explore it and see everything that it has, it would be a massive task and a massive journey, quote unquote, to like see all that. That's awesome. That's cool. That's what Classic Plus should be, man. And your year, and I know it's a lot of content, I know it's asking a lot, but maybe your end of first year, you decide to roll your first ult. Maybe you're that kind of guy that plays one class. That's pretty much me. And now you're going through all these different zones that they added, and I think that should be a goal for Blizzard as well. Like, the game could be out, you could be level 60 6 months in, they add a new level 30 zone. They add a new level 40 zone. New level 40 dungeon. Like, they don't just focus endgame. Because that becomes appealing to people. Because they'll be like, hey, you guys want to do new characters? They launched 3 new zones. New dungeons. Let's do it. That's freaking cool. There's a lot of ways to take Classic Plus, but I think there needs to be a shift in the mindset of the casuals get everything. Because when casuals get everything, nobody gets anything for very long. Because it's a drain on the game, a drain on the quality of the game, and a drain on the... I don't know if momentum is the word I'm looking for here, but like the drive. It kills drive. Once everyone has everything, okay, now what? What's next? What's next, Blizzard? Release what's next? And I'll say this, I always thought it was an insult to the devs themselves. The dev is insulting themselves by nerfing the content or providing boosts and stuff like that. That is an insult to yourself. You're allowing people to skip all your work, skip all the content, slap you. You know, you spent 6 months making this raid. 80% of the player base has it down week 2 because you nerfed everything. What are you doing, man? Let people work towards something. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to one-shot every raid I ever go into. I don't want that. I want to have those bosses you struggle on. We all relived those moments back in 2004, 2005 when you're playing an MMO and you're struggling on a boss over and over and over. I know you guys have memories of it. I know everyone has that memory of... Could be Onyxia. Could be Onyxia. 30, 40 wipes in. Maybe not on the same night. 30, 40 wipes, a month trying and you finally get her down. What was that Ventrilo server like? What was that TeamSpeak server like? It exploded. People went nuts. Right? Like that. We need that back. We need that, and it'll never happen with the current design of TBC. And I'm hoping that the dev team is not the same, that are making decisions for the TBC, that are handling Classic Plus. And if they are the same, I hope it's a completely different mindset. They're like, oh, it's TBC, they've done it before, who cares? I personally feel, hey, we've done it before, make it as hard as possible, or as hard as it was at the very least. That's my opinion, but hopefully for Classic Plus, they go, hey, that TBC thing was only made so easy because we know you guys have done it a million times, so we just want people to chill. I worry for it. I worry. But I will check it out. And I'm hoping that I'm not doing one of these videos for Classic Plus talking about how it failed. Please, Blizzard. Because you know me, I'm brutally honest. I am honest to a fault. I will tell you how it is, even if it ends a friendship. You ask me your opinion on your game, and you want honest answers? If you don't ask me. And I talked to some people at Blizzard, and I told one of the devs, I was like, hey, I think Psalm was a failure. Season of Mastery. He was like, well, I don't think it was a failure. And I was like, well, here's why. It wasn't just like failure and haha, take that. It was actual feedback. And if you care, the difficulty only allows one faction to play the game in Season of Mastery. And that's fact. That's historical mathematical fact. That once you reach after BWL, Horde cannot play the game. That's fact. That's not up for debate. Yeah, that's that. I'm hoping that Classic Plus is something we can play for years. We'll see. We'll see what comes, but a little scared. A little scared after this BC conundrum.